What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Happy Easter to all my subscribers. I know it's trying times right now with the COVID-19, man, but just stay strong, man. We'll get through this, man. No doubt about that. We'll get through this. Let's talk about Eddie Hearn, promoter of Matchroom Boxing. I like to call him Eddie the con artist. And he's out here making waves and doing a lot of smoke and mirrors like he always tends to do on several occasions. He's back at it again, man. He's actually been doing this for probably the last month. Ever since Tyson Fury knocked out Deontay Wilder in a rematch. I think the very next day, Eddie Hearn came out and said, look, let's make the fight happen between Fury and Joshua, man. Let's make the fight happen, man. The public wants it, we want it, AJ wants it. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. He then piggybacked on those comments and said, look, Deontay Wilder, we can try to pay him step-aside money, and he'll step aside so we can make this fight happen that the world has been wanting to see for quite a while now. And now that both guys are holding all the titles and all the titles are in the UK, let's make it happen. Deontay Wilder, pay him step-aside money, and he'll step aside, and we can make this fight happen. And everybody like, oh, man, yeah, that's great. That's great. Eddie talking real talk, man. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, the British all-UK battle for all the marbles. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. In the meantime, Eddie Hearn is negotiating with Bob Arum of Top Rank Boxing for a matchup between Anthony Joshua and his IBF mandatory Kubrat Pulev. And Tyson Fury has already locked into a third fight with Deontay Wilder. That was already locked in before the rematch. But Eddie Hearn don't want to tell you this, don't want to bring that to light, because all he's doing is getting a little payback. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn is the kind of guy that holds grudges, obviously. He remembers when Anthony Joshua was knocked out by Andy Ruiz in New York, Madison Square Garden, the Big Apple. And a lot of people were saying, Anthony Joshua, don't take the rematch, step aside and let the unification happen between Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. And that'll be a matchup of two American fighters for all the heavyweight belts in the heavyweight division, well, all the major heavyweight belts in the heavyweight division. Eddie Hearn said, kill that noise, basically. Anthony Joshua has a rematch in the contract, just like Deontay Wilder had a rematch in the contract when he lost to him in the second fight. Same type of language in both contracts. But nevertheless, he insisted that AJ take the rematch, and AJ wanted to take the rematch, and AJ wanted to redeem himself. And that fight took place in Saudi Arabia. And guess what? AJ got his titles back. Why can't he just afford Deontay Wilder the same opportunity to get his belts back? The reason why is just pure hate, pure vendetta on Eddie Hearn's part. He's still mad about that. He didn't like the bad publicity that AJ got after getting knocked out by basically a French contender, Andy Ruiz, a guy that had never showed that he was on that level before that fight. His first fight, his only fight before that was Joseph Parker, and he lost to him on a split decision in New Zealand. And we all know Joseph Parker is not an elite heavyweight, never has been one. He's a second-tier heavyweight with the likes of Dillian White, Dominic Brazil, and Alexander Povetkin, and fighters of that ilk. That's his level he's on. Never been an elite heavyweight, despite holding a WBO belt that he won, a vacant WBO belt at that. That was a belt that was vacated when Tyson Fury went on a cocaine binge, depression, and PEDs all in the system. He was just a guy that was going in all kind of different directions. Life was unraveling, spinning out of control, and he had to walk away. He wouldn't have to walk away. He walked away from the sport, or was he forced out of the sports, or maybe it was a combination of the two. Whatever the case may be, he ended up vacating those belts. Belts went everywhere. Joshua picked up two of those belts, and Joseph Parker picked up the other belt, and those were your champions once Tyson Fury was out of the picture. But back to your boy Eddie, the con artist Hearn. He is out here again, relying on the fans not to hold him accountable for his own previous actions, and agreeing with him, saying, yeah, Eddie, you're right, man. Deontay Wilder should step aside. He should step aside and allow Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury unification fight to take place. He should step aside. And those are the same fans that were mad when we were saying that AJ should not take the rematch with Andy Ruiz and let Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder fight for all the titles. Same scenario, it's just a different situation because it don't involve your favorite fighter. When it was AJ, you insisted on AJ taking the rematch, but now that it's Wilder in the same situation because you don't like Wilder, you don't like that he's braggadocious, he's a proud black man, you don't like that he's called your boy AJ a coward. Went on national TV in the UK. What was it? Good Morning Britain. He called him a coward. Put him on blast. Basically letting everybody know that he turned down $50 million with a 50-50 split on the pay-per-view to have a big-time fight with Deontay Wilder in Las Vegas. He turned that down. Then tried to get Deontay Wilder to take a $15 million flat fee. They didn't think Deontay Wilder was going to accept it. He accepted it. And then they had to find an exit, though, to kind of slide out of the avoid fight between AJ and Anthony Joshua. Called the WBA and got the WBA to mandate a fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin. Nevertheless, that unification trumps mandatory. They still got the WBA to mandate that fight, and that was their way out of not fighting Wilder in September of 2018. I believe that was. When it's September of 2018? Yes, September of 2018 is when that takes place. So again, this is Smoke and Mirrors by Eddie the Con Artist Hearn. And he's just trying to ruffle some feathers. He's still bitter about the situation that a lot of people were demanding after AJ lost to Andy Ruiz in the first fight. They wanted AJ to step aside so Andy Ruiz could fight Deontay Wilder. Now he's doing a little payback, saying that now that Deontay Wilder, maybe we can pay him step aside money, which will allow Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to fight for all the belts. Even though he's in negotiation, not even in negotiation, he's got a deal, a contract already set up for Anthony Joshua to fight Kubrat Pulev, fight that's tentatively supposed to take place in July 25th. Is where they're tentatively scheduled to make that fight happen. Don't think that fight will happen in July. Probably be more toward the fall of 2020. I think that's when most of the boxing schedule will get scheduled. Most of the boxing matches will get scheduled. The major fights, elite level fights will probably be getting scheduled sometime in the fall. Maybe late summer, maybe the back end of September, middle part to back end of September, late summer, early fall probably is my guess to be the earliest time we start seeing fights in boxing. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires, man. But Eddie Hearn is out here basically turning the tables on a lot of Deontay Wilder fans and basically getting a little payback for what he felt his fighter went through when he lost to Andy Ruiz, when people wanted him to step aside for a possible Wilder-Ruiz unification fight. He's trying to turn the tables. He has turned the tables, and he's doing the same thing to Deontay Wilder, which he didn't want his fighter to do. He's asking Deontay Wilder, a fighter that he doesn't promote, to do is to step aside. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. We'll see what other things Eddie the Con Artist comes up with. But the bottom line is the next fight will be Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. The trilogy is tentatively scheduled to take place October 3rd. Might not be in Las Vegas. Might not be in New York. Either one of those two venues might not be there. Might have to put that at another venue in the United States. I did a video listing different cities that could be possible for that fight, or it might end up being out the country. A lot of people said maybe the UK. That won't happen because Tyson Fury don't have a license to fight in the UK. Remember, he walked away from trying to get his license with the BBBFC. He walked away right before the rematch with Deontay Wilder, and he stated in several interviews that he's basically going to have all his fights in the United States of America. He's got a contract with Top Rank, which is got an exclusive contract with ESPN, one of the biggest sports channels in the United States. So look for him to have more, majority, if not all, of his fights in the United States of America. Even with a potential fight with Anthony Joshua, he said in a radio interview that fight would take place in the USA. So we'll see what the future holds in the sport of boxing, but don't believe what you're hearing coming out of Eddie Hearn's mouth. It's just a bitter man trying to get back at fans that asked his number one fighter, his cash cow, his meal ticket to step aside so that Deontay Wilder could get a fight with Andrew Reeves, the guy that knocked him out in the Madison Square Garden. He's just getting back at him. Now he's saying Deontay Wilder should step aside for Joshua and Tyson Fury, knowing for a fact that Joshua's next fight will be against Kubrat Pulev. If he doesn't fight Kubrat Pulev, the IBF mandatory, he would get stripped of that belt. And after that, in all the likelihood, he's going to fight Alexander Usyk if he gets by Derek Chisora. That's his WBO mandatory. Now, that's not that mandatory hasn't been called yet. He might be able to get a voluntary fight in, but look for that fight to be next, because they can make that fight happen maybe in Saudi Arabia. I think Saudi Arabia is wanting to get back into having a AJ fight that they're involved with. So look for that fight to happen next. And then the earliest you see, if both guys keep winning, that means Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, both guys keep winning, the earliest you can see that fight is in the summer of 2021. As Tyson Fury, if he defeats Deontay Wilder, has a mandatory that he must fulfill by February of 2021 against the #1 mandatory in Dillian White. Now, Dillian White has a fight coming up July 4th against Alexander Povetkin. That's another date that I doubt if that fight happens on July 4th, but that's where they typically got it set up for. That fight's going to probably get pushed back to the late summer, early fall, also along with the Joshua Kubrat Pulev fight. But when he does fight Alexander Povetkin, defeats Alexander Povetkin, he is promised a title shot by the WBC by February of 2021 against Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury winner. So both guys are pretty much locked in for the next two fights. So don't look for that fight to happen at the earliest, like I said, summer of 2021. Both guys have two fights, a minimum, to get out the way before they could possibly meet up. So kill that noise, Eddie Hearn. Kill the smoke and mirrors. Kill the bitterness, and kill the propaganda that you feed to your fans and to boxing fans in general, saying that it's a possibility of Deontay Wilder stepping aside so that Joshua and Fury can fight at the end of 2020. You know that, and I know that that's not going to happen. It has no possibility to happen. It's at least two fights away for both fighters. If both fighters keep winning, the fight will happen. You heard it here. The fight will happen, but at the earliest, 2021. At the earliest, the summer of 2021. Leave your comments in the comment section. What you think about Eddie Hearn asking Deontay Wilder to step aside for a Fury Joshua unification fight? Do you believe him, or do you believe that the facts that I've laid out here before you, stating that fight is not going to happen nowhere in the near future, and Eddie Hearn is just bitter that Anthony Joshua was asked by a lot of fans to step aside and not take the Ruiz rematch so Ruiz could fight Wilder when Wilder had the WBC belt, and that would be for all the titles in the heavyweight division. And he just turned the tables and getting back at Wilder and his fans, saying that Wilder should now step aside once he lost to Fury, so that Fury and Joshua can fight for all the titles in an all-UK heavyweight championship match. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.